are several threats to external validity. One interaction effects of testing is the fact that the pretest may make the participants more aware of or sensitive to the upcoming treatment. 2. Selection bias. When participants are selected in a manner so they are not representative of any particular population. Participants are selected because of their performance on some characteristic rather than being randomly selected. 3. Reactive effects of experimental setting is the fact that treatments in constrained laboratory settings may not be effective in less constrained, real-world settings. An intervention works great in a lab, but when I take it to the gym I do not get the same results. 4. Multiple treatment interference. When participants receive more than one treatment, the effects of previous treatments may influence subsequent ones. It especially happens in drug trials. The researcher must have enough time in between the different treatments that the effect of one treatment is completely. There are several common sources of error. Many possible sources of error can cause the results of a research study to be incorrectly interpreted. The following sources of error are more specific threats to the validity of a study than those described previously. The selected examples are Hawthorne effect, placebo effect, John Henry effect, rating effect, experimenter bias effect. Thorne effect is a specific type of reactive effect in which merely being a research participant in an investigation may affect behavior. Suggests that, as much as possible, participants should be unaware they are in an experiment and unaware of the hypothesized outcome. In other words, the observer is around for a while before observations actually occur. I would suggest that, as much as possible, participants should be unaware they are in an experiment and unaware of the hypothesized outcome. With placebo effect, participants may believe that the experimental treatment is supposed to change them, so they respond to the treatment with a change in performance. Blind and double-blind studies help to eliminate this effect. Blind studies mean the subjects do not know if they are receiving a treatment or a fake. Double-blind studies mean that the experimenter and the subjects do not know who receives the treatment. John Henry effect is a threat to internal validity wherein research participants in the control group try harder just because they are in the control group. Rating effect. A variety of errors are associated with ratings of a participant or group. These are the expectancy effect that the textbook discusses, halo effect, overrater error, underrater error, central tendency error. These type of effects limit objectivity and reliability. Experimenter bias effect. The intentional or unintentional influence that an experimenter researcher may exert on a study. This limits objectivity of the research. How to control threats to internal validity. We can use randomization, matched pairs, or within subject repeated measures to deal with history, maturation, statistical regression, selection bias, and testing. We may use placebos, blind and double-blind setups to solve the testing issue. Also, we may follow sound research procedures, use valid and reliable instruments, control groups when needed, and use common sense. Some threats to internal validity are uncontrolled. For example, to deal with reactive or interactive effects, we can eliminate pretest. But we lost some important information. The instrumentation is controlled by the experimenter. With regards to experimental mortality, we can do nothing about it. External validity is generally controlled by selecting the participants, treatments, experimental situation, and tests to represent some larger population. Of course, random selection is the key to controlling most threats to external validity.